Good morning and welcome to the best of WSBA's Morning News with Gary Sutton.
Dr. Carole Lieberman joins us. She is a board-certified Beverly Hills psychiatrist and an award-winning and best-selling author. She was trained at NYU Bellevue and at Anna Freud's London Clinic. She has served on the clinical faculty at UCLA at their Neuropsychiatric Institute for years. She also hosts 2 radio shows and podcasts and travels the world speaking about her books, especially her latest book for children and their parents and teachers, Lions and Tigers and Terrorists. Oh, my. How to Protect Your Child in a Time of Terror by Troika Publishing. And we welcome Dr. Lieberman back to the show this morning. She's been here before. Good morning, Dr. Lieberman. How are you?
Good morning. Fine, thank you.
Well, it's good to have you in. I know before the coronavirus we were talking about video games, and the World Health Organization, which was also talking about video games, was saying that, they're classified as a gaming disorder, video games, in their international classification of diseases as a mental disorder. But now, since the coronavirus and a lot of us are quarantining, maybe they've changed their tune a bit. Tell us about what's going on there this morning.
Yes, this is a very mysterious and unfortunate turn of events. The World Health Organization had fairly recently just put together a classification, a diagnosis called gaming disorder, and that consists of having, it's like an addiction. It consists of having impaired control over your gaming, increasing priority given to gaming over other activities of daily life, and continuing or increasing your gaming despite negative consequences. So you can see that a parallel with typical addictions. And this is to go into their book of diagnoses called the International Classification of Diseases. Okay, that was well and good. Well, they just changed their tune and now have put together this campaign called Play a Part Together. Play a Part Together. It's a hashtag. The idea is, now, ostensibly the idea is to get people to stay inside. Like it's another tool to try to get people to not go out and not spread the coronavirus. Playing video games, which are mostly violent. Now, I should say from the beginning, if it's a video game, a constructive video game, then fine. There's no problem with that. But most video games are violent. And there have been studies for years and all over the world. The more violent media, not just video games, but television and radio, television and films, the more violent media that you consume, the more violent or aggressive you become, meaning not that everybody's going to go out and become a serial killer, but you become more aggressive, such as road rage or domestic violence or child abuse, those kinds of things. So telling people now to go out and play a part together and buy video games is going to be setting up a situation where for weeks or months, however long we're going to be isolated, however, if the more people play violent video games, the more when we're all finished with this, they're going to be coming back out into society much more aggressive than they went in.
Yeah, so we don't want to go into this being, decent and come out of here being a violent nation, which is one of the things I know is a big concern for you. So the other good part about this, I would think right now, Dr. Lieberman, and you correct me if I'm wrong, is despite what the World Health Organization is saying that, okay, we're kind of, in essence, throwing in the towel here and saying to people, go ahead and play now, that which we said before, the violence was hurting people, you have a lot of parents at home now. And it seems to me that parents and kids are together a lot more. Maybe this is a chance now for parents to really steer their kids toward a much less kind of game, whether it's a board game or whether it's a type of video games that are not violent. And there are some of those out there. Your thoughts about that?
Well, yes, absolutely. This could be a time when parents and kids of all ages get closer together, do, the simpler things, like you were saying, like board games or charades or, playing ball in the backyard or something like that. But, it will be so tempting. It already is so tempting for parents to just let their kids watch television or play video games, especially during a time when we're all cooped up together. But, just because that's keeping the kids occupied and quiet and all that. But parents really is going on in some of these games. The violence that kids are being rewarded for. You know, the more points you get, you get more points for being more violent, for killing more people, for example. And so that reward system is very powerful. And when we come out of this, we're going to be happy, of course, that it's over, but people will have lost some people. It's been very stressful to be cooped up and so on. And so we're going to be walking out into the world in this rather fragile state, and there will be some people who will have become warriors during this time.
We're talking with Dr. Carole Lieberman, who is a person very concerned about the World Health Organization kind of declassifying video games as violent. So when you look at what's happening right now, too, we have a lot of adults who are maybe doing more Facebooking, more interaction on the Internet, and they need to be watching that as well. I know I find myself doing a lot more now because of my job, but also we're connecting with each other, and I think it's important for us to also make sure that maybe that time we're connecting is time we ought to be spending talking with our kids face-to-face. Would that be a fair statement?
Yes. This could be, so many families have lost the dinner hour. That used to be the time when families would talk together, ask their kids what they did in school that day or what's going on in their life, what's bothering them, that kind of thing. And so many families have unfortunately lost that as we all run off to various places. So this is a time to recapture that close interaction and finding out really what's going on with your children. Is something bothering them? Are they taking drugs or drinking? Is other negative behavior? Do they need help with something? Maybe they need a tutor and they hadn't told you that they weren't doing so well in school. All these kinds of things. This is a great time to find out more about your child.
Dr. Lieberman, where can people go to find out more about the information that you're talking about this morning?
Well, as far as the World Health Organization, you can just Google. There are tons of articles about it,
right.
although not as many are talking about how bad this is, quite frankly. They've teamed up with the game industry to do this, and so, one has to suspect whether there's some money behind it when the World Health Organization needs that. But this is a time when we are dependent upon them for information about coronavirus, and they're doing something like that. Where they can get more information about me is I have a number of websites, drcarole.com, which is drcarole.com, and then also I'm the terrorist therapist, so there's terroristtherapist.com.
You're listening to the best of WSBA's Morning News with Gary Sutton. We'll have more after the break.